Good evening. We are on air, and we've been announced by a special effect. So thanks for that. But good evening. We're Battle Pirates Hangout in the Crib, and I'm BP Professor. And tonight we are joined by Tito.
Hi, everybody.
And Jefe.
Hello.
All right. So tonight we're going to mostly talk about the raid, Civil War Allegiance, and the prizes that you can earn in this raid. So unless we want to talk about anything else beforehand, I'll just hop over to the slides.
Okay, let's go about that.
All right. So Civil War Allegiance. All right, first bug fixes from today's release. Fixed an issue where it might be difficult to select an item from the event store on account of not being able to click through the checkbox icon.
Yeah, that happened to me last time. I got the Vendetta and I was within the Apollo and I got to call them so they could switch the price for me because I was clicking one and it gave me the other.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah, the pop-ups show up right in the middle of the screen, and and then you try and click on it, and instead you get the wrong prize. Yeah, that was sucky. I thought I've still said for the last couple months, I think the graphic design of the event store has been kind of poor. It's like too much scrolling and clicking around and finding stuff without. It just seems like difficult to navigate for no good reason.
Well, you should try and go into your Intel lab a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's even worse, I guess. I mean, by comparison, right? They've cleaned up everything else into pages, but the Intel lab is one giant scroll. Yeah. All right. Okay. Corrected a case where cluster warheads could be used to modify the reload speed of the mortar section of Coax Firestorm. Specials should now properly buff only the part of the coax that they affect. Good to know. Me, I would have tested stuff like that before I released the prize, but whatever.
Yeah, but I may think that not many people tested that because when you get to the legendary rank with that hole, I think that those clusters are not going to be any use for you. So maybe people didn't put them on the start because of that 0.20 as the faster shooting that you can do in this game.
All right. I guess I just come from old school
maybe
software where it's supposed to work.
Yeah, maybe for that they skip to test that special. Thinking nobody was going to use it, but well, maybe somebody used it on the first stage of the rank of the ship. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and then this next one is I think even worse. You know, the Vendetta was affected by the Harlock Citadel flagship effect, which gave the mortars more speed. And,
yeah, it was crazy.
It was. I mean, it was very specifically on release supposed to be Citadel only.
Yeah, but I told you, I told many that it didn't work, and they showed me hitting elites and alike that placing the out of the Harlock Citadel on those Vendettas, and wow, that was likely a gun machine instead of a mortar.
Yeah, again, if you're gonna have a specific effect from a flagship, check and make sure it works. Whatever.
Yeah, that I agree with you.
Okay, limited time offers that grant fragments will now refill a player's inventory, allow fragments earned from offers to go over the normal capacity. So I did notice that the limited time offer for fragments to upgrade the Rhino came back. If you want to spend $100 to get your Rhinos from R4 to R5, you can do so again. And I guess if you earn some tier 5 assault fragments by raid prizes last time, and then you buy more, you don't Get penalized at least.
Yeah, because with the Rhino fragments, it has been going crazy. First was 4, then they went to 40, now they are back to 4. So I guess that for not keeping changing the max stock you can, they have done this. So it
Yeah.
avoids that they have to be redoing the max you can get.
And then the worst deal seems like in the daily deals, they've got the assault fragments like 150 coin for 10. I mean, that's a terrible price. And 10 assault fragments don't get you anything.
Yeah, at times I think that they have issues putting value to the stuff that they have in game.
Yeah, that one's. I mean, I guess some people bought them, but I don't know. Yeah. All right. I'm
Well,
not gonna.
at the point, I would have bought Crusader fragments when I got likely 100 of the siege fragments and not a single one of those, and I was waiting for them to come. But if you have patience, at the time they come all.
Well, yeah, and I guess my point with the tier 5 assault fragments, or is it tier 6? Tier 5. Um, that is that unless you get all of them, they're worthless, and the only way to get all of them is to buy them. You can't go out and hit targets to earn them. So
No, and as we will see later when we see the prices, last rate, you could redeem some of them, and now you don't have anything.
right. All right. Enough bitching about that one, I think. And then I guess there is a error in the Rocketeer turret because we're all grammar Nazis or something. Okay.
Well, actually, could you go back?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I noticed there was another big bug fix that occurred during the last update. For the last 3.5 weeks, whenever I do an R&D, I don't have a pumpkin. After today's update, I'm back to having a pumpkin. So I'm not sure if anybody else out there that ran into the same sort of glitch that I did ran into that, or it could just be a me issue where I no longer can go stealth on my research.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard too many other people saying that, at least. I'm getting close to being done. I'm finishing 29 today. Pretty psyched. Especially for the build time reduction at 30.
If you are bored, you can do mine. I think I'm hitting 9 now.
Tito, I would if I could. Or probably not. But anyway.
I know you look like sad because you are finishing that, so I just was offering you a solution.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tito, for offering, but I will decline your generous offer.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to have to refill my uranium tonight because I'll start number 30. Well, maybe I'll start number 30. I don't know what the criteria are. Anyway, build time reductions. So I know we were all hoping for build time reductions on torpedoes, Scourge torpedoes, so that we could get our subfleets ready, or at least those of us without subfleets. But they didn't do that. What they did instead is reduce old launcher build times. And we'll see in the prize list there's some new launchers. So the reductions are here. The build time on the S launchers was terrible, and that's been reduced. The D92F is really bad. Don't ever build that. D104N is, I guess, occasionally usable. We were talking about that before the show.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting because that's the, I think the tier 2 raid prize.
Yeah.
But that got the least love, I think, out of the group.
Yeah, and I don't think the N is that much better than the S.
It's not.
Well, yeah, I mean, way back when launchers were new, I did a whole bunch of comparisons at the launcher DPS at different ranks, and once you get your ship ranked up, the S launchers do much better because they have the single salvo. And Jefe, I think the point you're talking about earlier in today's game with deflection, it's another reason to pick the S launchers because they do more damage per hit.
Yeah, because they will actually overcome the Bloodthirst Revenge's deflection on radioactivity.
Okay. Yeah. And then interception also got some love. Lopped off a day build time on that one, and I think interception system is actually a great special. I love speed. I love fast ships, and so I do like using that special on both missile ships and launcher ships. So.
And a little bit of a peek ahead is that it also stacks with the Emission Generator.
Correct. So we'll talk about that soon. But let's just go through Allegiance real briefly. It's pretty much the same structure as last time and the same structure as the time before that. The S target got its points tweaked a little bit, and it's now called a 103. So it's my guess that they redesigned that target. Everything else looks the same, at least from the points perspective.
Yeah.
All this other stuff is exactly the same. You'll get less bonus if you're hitting C or B sets and you're high level. You get these mana. Go ahead.
I think that in case that somebody's wondering, I think for the tier C, you get 10% or something like that when you hit 80 or higher, and for the B set I think it's 85. I did a few of those last raid, and I think instead of the 607 you get something close to 420 or like something around that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big penalty. All right. And then Mana War spawns for uranium because you're not getting it through Sector Threat. So.
And those are not more suitable targets to hit if you are looking for uranium.
No, those are pretty tough. You got to be. I'll just say you want to be desperate for uranium if you're hitting Mana War. Tears your ships up. Okay. The new twist this raid is faction choice. So apparently you're going to be required to pick Zoe or Harlock, Legion or Forsaken, Hottie versus Hunky. All right.
And what is your choice? Never mind.
Well, let's talk about that. So, Zoe is going to give you increased offensive damage and reduced defensive power, which I assume applies to resistance, but maybe also applies to deflection.
I think somebody on the forum said that it was not going to apply to deflection, just to the defenses.
Okay. Hey, welcome, Murph.
Hey guys, right?
Yeah, good to have you. We're talking about.
We were just debating Hottie versus Hunky, and you know, Larry's about to give us the verdict any point now.
Well, I think we all need to choose our own verdict.
To be fair, obviously Zoe's hotter,
Yes.
but Harlock gives better bonuses. So
Yeah,
That's the way I see it.
that's the way I see it.
I think it depends on what you're using.
Well,
depends on what you're thinking as well. I think, Tito.
No, because that distracts me. You know, I cannot do those two things at the same time.
Oh my.
so anyway, you're talking about like smoking cigars and carrying guns, right? You're right. Okay, so anyway,
Talking about doing something with both hands, and one of them's definitely not smoking cigars.
all right, thanks for clearing that up, Irv. Good to have you back. Yeah, so anyway, Zoe increases your offense, decreases your defense. Harlock increases your defense, reduces your offense. So I guess most of us were saying that we would pick the Harlock and pick defense, despite our natural inclination to pick Hottie over Hunky. It seems that Harlock was our choice.
Well, yeah. To be fair, everybody's going to pick boobs over. But
I
Cigars?
think it depends. If you go with rhinos and a tank, you're
No.
probably going to go for Sega. But if you are going to do it with Apollos, you probably are going to take Legion because you want the offensive over that defensive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Because 6% defensive when your ship is 95 or alike, resistance to missile is not going to make you much difference. Because the diminishing return, what is that? Maybe 1% or more?
Yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious how they're going to work the math on this, because if you think about it, the damage is going to be additive, and then you have diminishing returns on the defense. So I'm not sure if let's say you have 95. Let's say you have 90% missile defense. How does each one of those impact that? Do they impact them? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you got to think about how Kixeye math works, right? And so yeah, let's say you have 90% defense, right? And then if that 5% was really additive, which we know it's not going to be, right? Going from 90% to 95% defense would actually cut the damage you take in half, right? Because you go from 10% getting through to 5% getting through. So, that would be huge. It's not going to work like that. What it's going to do is it's going to do another 5% defense, so it's going to cut the damage you would have taken by 5%. People go on and on about Kixeye math, and it's hard to figure out, but really it's just no matter how much you've already resisted, it's just going to resist another 5%. And it's kind of simple.
Yeah, and get in mind that if you are already with that 93, 94, 95, you're already on the damage that goes through, no matter how much resistance you add, is going to be pointless.
Yeah. If you're on min damage, you're right. Yep, it's not going to help you at all. Yeah, and what I was thinking with Harlock is, I don't mind the loss of offensive power so much, just because I seem to kill everything really fast anyway, right? With my rhinos, and that's really where I was going.
Pretty much the way that I look at it is, if you've got Apollos, go Zoe. If you've not got Apollos, go Harlock.
Probably a good answer.
That's pretty much the way I look at it.
Well, my question is, are they going to add it the same way they subtract it? If you know what I mean. If you have 90% to start with, and you add 5 or 6, I don't know, because you see the blueprints don't match up with Doom Rooster's comments, but if you add 5%, I'm just going to use 5%. So if you have 90% missile resistance and you add 5% defensive power, you're going to go to 90.5. Now, if you subtract 6% or 5%, whatever number, I'm just going to use 5% again. If you subtract 5%, are you going to go from 90 to 89.5, or are you going to go from 90 to 85%?
Well, I think the offense is really just like the defense. It's an extra 5% or a reduction of 5% on the damage you would have done, right? Just like on the defensive side, it's a reduction or add in to the damage you would have taken. So I think it kind of works the same way.
I know I don't do this very often. I'm a very good fan of numbers and figuring everything out and everything else. But I think on this one occasion, I'm quite inclined to say, if you've got Apollos, do Zoe. If you haven't, do Harlock. And that's about the crux of it, really.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. All right, so let's move on from the Hottie versus Hunky. I think we've decided.
There is going Hunky, I think. That's what I heard.
I'm picking Hunky. It's all right. Mrs. Professor isn't going to get jealous. She's cool.
Cool.
Is that because she's going to get a threesome?
Ho, hey, ho. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the Vanquisher. Was anyone in the preview where we got to use the Vanquisher? I was not.
I could see the preview, but I was not in. So far, it looks like a good hull to have. It's a jack of all pots, but master of nothing, as mostly called. But my final idea about this hull is that if you need a bit more punch to stop those duets of vendettas and revenges, this is a hull to have inside. But if your base is having lots of trouble to stop them, just adding this hull is not going to stop them.
Yeah. So let's go through some of the details. Again, it's 15 million points for the hull, which has been the kind of the standard lately, and it's a 3.5-day build with no officer, which is, I'll say, middle of the road these days. I mean, we've seen some really quick building hulls, and we've seen some long building hulls.
Yeah, I was wondering, seeing the armor points, if the build time has a lot to do with the armor points, because if you make numbers and you divide these armor points by the vendetta ones, you will see that it's likely 14 times more. That is more or less what it takes to build this ship if you compare to the other one. Because the other one is 36,000 and is 6 hours to build, if I recall well. And this one is likely 14 times that, because it's 14 times more armor. So I guess that has to do a lot with the armor, the whole.
Urf, wasn't that your idea from way back when they were talking about redoing build times, that the build time should just scale on the armor?
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I want to just point that out for everybody.
But if you actually look at if you look at the armor and the fact that you cannot have any defenses against it, maybe they're looking at it not as just raw armor, but effective armor. You know, because you can't put any resistances on this one.
Yeah, I mean, when I first
Maybe
about it and sort of started staying,
maybe those stats apply some sort of bonus or penalty on the build times, but I would say that mostly they work around the armor points.
Yeah, that was kind of, when I was on about it, that was kind of the idea that in my mind, I thought that base armor points should sort of scale in repair times and in build times, that, you know, the base armor points should be the factor in which we sort of repair and build times should be based on. So
yeah.
I thought it was a good idea, and I think it still is a good idea.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little more about this hull. Again, it has a huge amount of armor points, 50,000 armor point, 500,000 armor points. But as Jefe said a little earlier, no defenses. It's got the 100% defense handicap. Oh, there it is up there. It can't move, and so its turn speed doesn't really matter. It has some sonar and some thermal, although 80 isn't really super great. You got to be kind of careful where you put it if you really want to detect subs and not have the subs sneak around it. So repair duration of 2 hours for all that armor points. That's really nice.
Really nice, to be fair. I quite like that.
Yeah,
and turn it into 1 hour if you put in that special slot for defending. So 1 hour, it's not bad.
That's right. That's right.
If we're going to go this way, can I have like a half an hour repair on my Protonam? Is that right?
No, you may not.
Oh, please, come on, I've got 5 of them.
Why do you have 5 of them?
Well, he's got one build.
Yeah.
All right, so 7 weapon slots.
Like half an hour repair.
Yeah. All right. 7 weapon slots, 3 armor slots that you should never use. And,
I would have even removed those armor slots, unless you want to put a bait. But
well, I mean, we can talk about that now, right? So first of all, the reason you should never use them is because you're going to increase your armor points just a little bit. Most armors aren't going to help you because it's got the defense handicap. And even if you want to use evade, right, the main base attack weapons right now are not aimed weapons. They're the concussive Gatling and the mortars.
Yeah, it all works on splash. There's no point in evade whatsoever. Adding arm points, all it's going to do is increase your repair time. So.
Yeah, I agree at this point. I just would build with the anticipation that potentially they're, I wouldn't build it out to max, even if you can, because it's a very light build. But the idea that eventually there might be an armor or armor special, something that you could put on them that would work for this hull.
Yeah, maybe.
Because this hull looks like it has a long life to it. Like the Enforcer. When was the last time? When did the Enforcer come out?
I'm going to call it now. I'm going to say that they're going to come out with a type of armor called the Tito Special, and it's going to have like 650 million armor points.
What's the repair time on that stuff?
650 days.
Okay. Cool. Anyway,
You better build a new one instead of repairing, mate.
Yeah. So, all right. So don't add armor. You got 5 specials, which is going to be a lot, especially when you can't do anything defensive, and you probably don't want to do evade. I haven't thought through any specific builds, but I bet Cryo Battery would find a nice place on this ship.
I have to agree with that one, definitely.
Yeah. Probably some other ones there. Shielded electronics, I'm thinking.
No, shielded electronics I think is a armor-based one. Agility system would be better than that one because that's shielded electronics is a percentage of your armor.
Yeah, which then if you
Which
have
is crazy because you put that special on the hull and you already are overweight without putting any weapon.
So wait a minute. All right. So the guys are talking about an issue that maybe not everybody knows about. So when you have a hull, right, it's got built-in armor points, and if you have a totally empty hull and you add a special that's based on, I thought it was any weight, but maybe just armor weight, it will still add weight even if you don't have any armor, and that goes for any ship. Okay, they have this sort of hidden weight that gets scaled. But apparently for this hull it's really, really high. So if you add a special, apparently now Jefe, maybe you can talk about this a little more because you were talking about it earlier. But if you add a special that's a percentage of the armor weight, then you end up huge. Is that right, Jefe?
I'm sorry, there was a dog barking in my ear. Could you say the last part again?
So if you add a special that has its weight based on the armor weight, apparently on this hull it comes out huge, even if you have 0 armor.
Well, if you think about it, you compare this if you compare it to the Enforcer, which is, probably the best comparison. The Enforcer has like 5.4 thousand armor inherent in the inherent. This has 500,000. So anytime you're going to add a special where it says a percentage of your armor weight, it's just going to make it crazy. I mean, it's going to be 100 times what the impact would be with the Enforcer.
Yeah. So, okay. So is that? I mean, you showed me that picture earlier today. So is that a feature or a bug? I mean, is that intended?
Oh, which picture did I show you?
I'm
just kidding.
Vanquisher build, man. Nothing else.
I'm just kidding. It just accounts for all the armor on the ship when it does that. As far as a pure armor special, it's a little bit of weird math because it doesn't impact total weight. Total
Okay.
weight is different than armor weight, and it's a little bit why sometimes I say the game is complicated.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, thank you for that discussion. So yeah, if shield attack probably puts you overweight, then that's absolutely right. Maybe agility system is the way you want to go, but protection against pinch seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah, but I do find it odd that it's total weight is not in this hall. Total weight can be way less than armor weight
Yeah, that is odd.
because total is not the combination. Everybody else's normal definition of total is not what's going on here.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's go through some of the other stats here. In terms of attack, it's optimized for launchers and countermeasures. You've got the accuracy bonus, which always helps both those things. You got radioactive reload, radioactive range bonuses, and then you've got the countermeasure, really big accuracy bonuses. With this and the built-in 25% accuracy, you're actually at 100%. Double accuracy for your antis. So, mortars. Obviously, anti-missile missiles really aren't much of a thing right now in base attacks, but maybe that'll change. So yeah.
To be fair though, with the only having the 7 weapon slots, it's not really that much of a benefit because you're going to want to realistically putting out as much damage as possible with the tail because obviously it's got no inherent defenses against anything. So I think
Yeah.
it's more of an offense style rather than a defense style.
I don't. I mean, the first one I build would definitely be launchers and cyclone launchers, as we'll get to. But I'm thinking maybe a second one with gales might not be a horrible idea.
Yeah, it's sort of an offensive weak thing relative to the enforcer.
To
I
be
mean,
fair, because of its build time, it probably is quite a very good anti-hull, really, purely because of its armor points and because of the anti-bonuses on it. It would do really well as an anti-hull, and with the build time being so low in respect to other anti-hulls, then yeah, fair enough. It's probably going to do quite well.
yeah, because the enforcer has 12 weapon slots, and the accuracy is 35% as opposed to 25%. So as far as just pure damage, this doesn't really compare to the enforcer. It's about half of what the enforcer is. If you're only thinking about getting one shot off.
Yeah. Hopefully these guys will last a while. Okay, and then we talked about defenses, but we should talk about these two fields and auras, whatever you want to call them. So it's got a friendly field, which is kind of short range, 45 range.
Kinda short range.
Yeah.
How big is the backside of your Iceland?
Well, yeah. So, but it gives a reload and projectile speed bonus. So it's going to affect itself, first of all. Don't forget that. But can you get another ship close in?
You want to get another ship close in. Everything that's doing damage in bases at the minute is all splash damage. You're going to want to put a ship in to get 30% bonuses on it.
It's going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, it's got 500,000 armor points. You're going to be hammering the fuck out of it by whatever means possible. If you're going to put another ship next to it, doesn't matter what ship it is, it's going to die before that dies. So what's the point? Really? Because everything's splash. So, that's kind of to me, is a completely pointless stat, really.
I'm convinced. Good
Well,
to have back,
you know,
Garth.
Just looking at it, you know, are you going to want to put something next to another hole, like literally right next to it, in order to get a 30% bonus, and then that's a hole that's going to die?
If you do that, you are forced to put gales on that ship, so it will not be offensive, just defensive.
Yeah.
Unless you put the two next to each other. Unless you have two of them next to each other.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced, mate, to be honest.
Because I think they need to. I think you need to have more than one of these. I mean, basically, because of the 7 weapon slots, like I talked about before, relative to the 12 on the Enforcer, you need to. I don't know why, personally, unless they're going to come out with the next generation of wakes. I'm sorry, I keep on saying gales. If they come out with the next generation of gales, then it makes sense. But if you think about it, you would want to put gale freeze on these. But if you look at it, oh no, you don't get any of the bonuses associated with the gales. It's a tricky build. I'm not really. I'm more thinking that there's something coming in the future when I look at this haul. That this isn't the end of the story.
No, I think though, you know, really, if you're going to build these, you need to build them offensively rather than defensively. But if you haven't got a defense anti-hull to use in your base, then obviously they're going to be really good because of the armor points and everything else. You know that those antis are going to work for a while because of the armor points.
Well,
And
Irv,
repair as well.
do you think an anti-hull is necessary in your base? Or useful?
Personally, yeah, I reckon 2 is really necessary at the minute.
Okay.
If you really want to stop top level ships and, you know, top level attackers coming in, you need 2 anti-hulls in your base.
All right. Let's talk about the other field, the hostile field. Nerfs attackers, but I don't know anybody who's going to try and get within 65 range of this. I mean, maybe if they try and run it, but I don't know.
It will depend a lot on the base. If you are one of those that have 2 tiles in front of the ship, you are barely going to reach them. And if you have just one, maybe it will be better for you.
I think
we know that.
Maybe in my base setup at the minute, it might possibly get in range if they attack it how some have attacked it before, but I don't see it being a common occurrence, if you like.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about this hull?
Yeah, the amazing cargo capacity of the hull, that's amazing. 5,000. 5 million. That's the best of the hull.
Yes.
There's another one that's in the neighborhood.
To be fair, that's going to come in really, really well. You know, you're going to have lots and lots of cargo when you're ranking it, when you put it outside your base and have to wait for all of the cargo ships to come towards you. It's going to take 65 million years to rank it.
Yeah, we should talk about ranking because, you know, again, when you're shooting at stuff to rank, the XP you get is based on the armor points or the damage you do, and the ratio of that to the health you have. So it's going to be really hard to rank this by going after salvo or even by going after VXP targets. You know, the best way to rank this is going to be
coin it.
Coin it. Thank you. or kill it off in VXP weekends. You know, suicide has been a viable ranking strategy lately. So
I've been waiting for years to say the best way to rank it is to coin it. Been waiting.
How'd that feel, Irv?
Yeah, it felt really good.
Okay, good.
I agree with you, Larry. I mean, the best way to rank this up is GXP weekend and suiciding it into, because the 123s are going to come back next DXP weekend.
Well, and hopefully there will be mobile ships to come and kill it.
Well, the 123s are mobile ships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if not, you can also put 3 or 4 gunboats and just trigger the ships to come to you. But
But you know what? If you put weapons on it, maybe it'll kill the stuff that comes after it before you can sink.
yeah, I was thinking if you put this with Catholic guns of those in the September, you may do something.
Well, I mean, talk about cyclone launchers. I mean,
No,
anyway.
I'd put a Thud 1 on it, and then send in a gunboat with it as well, just to make sure that shit comes after you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I mentioned the Cyclone Launcher. Let's move on to that. So, new launcher weapon, and it's 9 million points, a little over half a day build time each, which is kind of in line with other launchers. We saw the rebalance. So this is kind of different than other launchers. It does very high projectile damage and low shockwave damage. And the reason for that is because it's designed to break through deflection, which it will do, as we'll show in a couple slides.
Do we know? I'm just gonna put this out there. Do we know whether this is going to be affected by the old bullseye brigade or not?
I assume it would be the same as other launchers.
Right, yeah, but let's say on launches, are they? Well, it's obviously going to be affected by having the
100% accuracy.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's obviously going to be the what's the other one? Can't remember.
Skullduggery? Disciples?
Disciples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, skullduggery.
All I'm going to say right now is that I might have looked into doing a little build on some subs, and if you run one Tiger Shark with a Disciples crew on it, you can get 97,000 damage from one Tiger to pop up and get one salvo off 97,000 damage.
Thank you, Earth.
Now it beats me, but yeah.
Yeah. So so it's got a low damage shockwave. Kickside does not share the number of stacks to trigger a shock in the blueprint, which seems like an oversight. So we can't even really analyze how often that shockwave is going to go off, even if you are shooting at call it a low evade reactive target. But all right. But anyway, this is pretty well designed to go with the Vanquisher, and it certainly is your weapon of choice in base defense, I think. Next, we can talk about Emission Generator, also designed to go with the Cyclone Launcher. A point I didn't make on the last page is that the Cyclone does multi-shot instead of salvos, and so this Emission Generator gives you a +2 multi-shot. Now, since the Cyclone Launcher has a 4 multi-shot, and this increases it to 6, that's actually a 50% DPS bonus. That's pretty big. So it's worth doing. And then the Launcher Supercharge will get shockwaves faster. We don't know if that's going to be really useful with the Cyclone. I did notice that, it would also enhance scatterguns, and Cobras do the dot damage, and the Supercharge affects the dot damage. So, if you got some Cobra scattergun chips, this might help that too. Because everybody loves fighting tigers with Cobra scatters, right?
That was my first thought when I saw it. Was I'm gonna put it on my tigers with the cobras.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I'm not sure it's how it's going to work out in the September raids.
yeah, because we don't know whether the Cobras will have enough range to be useful. But
Yeah.
it's tough to resist or deflect dot damage. So, yeah. But again, this is certainly one of the things that you're going to put on your Vanquishers when you're using Cyclone Launchers, or any ship using Cyclone Launchers. All right. And I ran some numbers on DPS. I think the numbers are less important than the zeros. So I compared the Cyclone to the Antipode, or Antipode, whichever you prefer. So if you're shooting at if you put this on a Vanquisher, first of all, I looked at the reload time and the accuracy, and ran some numbers. Did not include shockwave damage, and so the DPS against a Revenge with no bloodthirst is higher. Maybe triple or quadruple if you put Emission Generator. If you've got a Revenge with full bloodthirst, so it's got the extra radioactive deflection, Antipodes get essentially minimum damage or zeroed out. And just out of curiosity for myself, I did the math, and the DPS hits that 0 or hits minimum at 7 stacks of the bloodthirst ability. And then Vendettas have 9,000 rad deflection, so this thing isn't going to do anything but minimum damage. And I wrote, can you shockwave a Vendetta? The Cyclone doesn't matter because it only does 1,000 damage in the shockwave, but the Antipode does 24,000-ish. So with all that negative evade, maybe you have a chance to shockwave it. I don't know. Has anybody else seen a Vendetta shockwave?
I've tried 2 fully loaded ×6 enforcers on a Vendetta and it's not worked.
Okay.
So
I guess the answer is no.
Isn't the whole full-on reactive?
Yeah.
it's fully unreactive, it just won't. But what I will say is that it does with the minimum damage because it reloads so quickly on a fully skulled enforcer with 2 of them.
I think it was Ewok, no, that made that video, and he was dying but was not getting any single shockwave out of it.
Yeah, no, you don't get a shockwave on it, but because of the minimum damage and per salvo, and because the salvos are so quick on it, and the reload's quite constant, it really does zip down the health on them.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, so that's the story. Maybe not as bad as it seems, but certainly you can see the improvement on the Cyclones. All right.
I think the thing is with the Cyclone, it's going to be extremely powerful if you present it right in your base. You've got to be very clever about where you put your turrets and where you put your guard ships. At the minute, you've got obviously the Revenge is very powerful against your frostbites and stuff like that, and your Vendettas are very powerful against your scatterguns. So you've got to kind of mix it up a bit. You've got a mix of both in groups, so that you've got to force somebody to either send a Vendetta or a Revenge in to that point in order to get rid of those turrets, and then sort of put your guard ships to suit, if you like. And I think a very good idea is maybe the Harlock Citadel.
Yeah.
For sorting out your problems with vendettas. With that real massive sort of what can we say, weakness to explosive weapons, it might be a good idea.
Yep. Okay.
And also all the rocket towers that we have at this point. The frostbite, all those all those turrets that do explosive damage that aren't mortars.
Yeah,
Also do a number on them.
yeah, definitely. And the cold snap's probably a very good thing to put an ATR transformer on if anybody's having trouble. So.
Okay. Cool. So we ready to talk about prizes? Its structure. So the main kind of prizes over here, you've got your sort of your launcher and your defense path, and then you've got your assault path, which look like prizes we've seen before. Your Apollos, your Rhinos.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
like this because I'm gonna get to moan a little bit.
Yeah, they said that the assault line is going to be the same for the whole format, like the way to say that this is the what you need to do it, and we are going to keep offering. But I think it's a huge mistake that they don't let you choose prices from both lines, because that makes no sense.
Agreed. Players should be able to catch up.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's not my main issue with this, though, to be fair.
Please share.
I think my main issue is that obviously it's been said on the forum that you're going to have to get the hull before you can get the weapon.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think that's
but
pretty shit, really.
But the thing is that in the last two races, people was complaining that they were going after the Apollo and they were going to have to take the countermeasure and the switchblade that they didn't have any interest. And now that they changed it, there is people that is complaining again. So I guess it's never to going to rain good for everybody.
So
I think the ultimate point is why is the limit in place?
right.
What is the point of having this limit at all? I mean, because it's
I don't understand
forces
the
down.
limit.
No,
Just
it's not so much that. I think that people that have got the enforcer hull, this weapon, even if they can't achieve the points to get the hull, but they can achieve the 9 million points to get the weapon. They can't do that without getting the hull this time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of upsets me in a way that people who haven't got the tech to be doing that, but they've managed to get the hull of the enforcer from another raid and stuff like that. They can't better themselves by getting the weapon.
Yeah. If somebody gets 10 million points, what can they buy? They've got all the old crappy stuff. They can't buy the hull. They can't get into the locked store and get the torpedoes or the Tiger.
And they can't get the weapon, which is going to help them out tons.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of a kick in the teeth, really. I think for people who can't make that 15 million and then go on and then again have the 9 million in order to get the weapon that they really need. So,
but either way, it's a slap in the face, right?
yeah, but realistically, in previous raids and the way it's always worked, the weapon's always available, and then the holes, you're sort of like you shining armor type thing. But now, because they've gone, well, the weapon's going to be really good on enforcers if you place them right and stuff like that. But we really want people to go for the hull, so we're going to make sure that they've got to get the hull before they get the weapon. It's all British expression, but ass about face.
Yeah. players want freedom, right? They want to be able to pick the prize they want. And when people were complaining about the order last time, it wasn't that, you know, right? I mean, players want freedom.
Well, they do, and you know, I can understand it last time to a certain extent because it's going to work well with the hull, and you have to get the weapon before you get the hull. Fair enough, you know, and the weapon is going to be good for other hulls as well, not just the one that was available. If you know what I mean. But this way round, you're kind of limiting everybody's options, aren't you? More so than you were last time.
Yeah.
Admittedly, last time, you know, you can pick your route and everything else up through it, but this time you basically fucked, don't you? Really, you want the weapon, you've got to get the hull. So.
Yep. And
But
I mean, that's,
are you going to get the Apollo this go around, Earth?
Sorry, mate.
Are you going to get the Apollo this go around?
No.
Okay.
No.
right, because you can't miss out on the Vanquisher
No.
if you want to compete in base defense.
Exactly. So, you know, I missed the Apollo. I missed it last time. I missed it this time. You know, I'd rather spend the extra time repairing my rhinos than I would missing out on the Vanquisher, because really it's something that's going to be needed.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah,
not
but-
so much that it's needed, but I need the weapon. You know, I can deal with the fact that I haven't got the Vanquisher, but I can't have. I've got to have the weapon. So
Well, you could pick
I
the
know
Apollo and then the
I could get
Cyclone.
the Apollo and get the weapon, but then
Then what?
in another in another breath, because the Enforcer hasn't got the armor points that the Vanquisher's got, you know, if I don't place those Enforcers entirely correctly, the splash from damaging something else could wipe out my Enforcers before they even fire.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's a big toss up. And I think really with the Vanquisher, admittedly the stats aren't great. There ain't no defense built in, stuff like that. But if you place it right, it's going to be, you know, really nice.
And even
Alright.
at the local store, why they offer the Phantom Tiger Shark and not the normal Tiger Shark? Because
That's
one sub only is not going to do the raid in September. You will need more than one.
Yep. Yeah, the locked store kind of sucks. I mean, again, first the fact that it's locked, because maybe some players need to catch up on subs, right? We've been hearing it. You need to catch up on subs. If somebody doesn't have a good sub hull, if somebody doesn't have the torpedoes, they
No,
gotta have.
I think
they
it is
gotta-
it is crap, right? I don't think that the Phantom Tiger Shark and the Styx torpedo and the Sharon torpedo should be in a locked store. That should be a separate thing completely, right? Fair enough. Shards, fair
Yeah.
enough. Right, when you've got everything else,
Yeah,
have a look at all the
I
shards.
myself, like many others, were waiting for the anti-port to be there as well.
Yeah.
I can understand it's not tier 2 because maybe it's such a good launcher, but you could have added that to the lock at the store.
Yep.
I don't know.
Five
I
or
think
6 million points. Yep.
But you know, take that stuff out of it. Just leave the shards in there if you wanna go through everything and get what prizes you can get, and then unlock the store. Then you can take shards and take as many as you want, whatever. That's fine. But
And then
that having the Phantom Tiger Shark, I can understand, but the torps need to be somewhere where you can just buy them, because it's something that you're gonna need.
yeah, and for example, last raid they were doing something better, like they adding some turrets, like the Basilisk, and I think was the
And
Secretary as well. And they should have kept going with that, with all the other ones that people have been missing, like Alt Snap, glacial turrets and alike. They could have had something like that. So they start things, and instead of keeping on that line, they just start and finish likely. What's the point of the people that redeemed the 40 or 50 shards they could for at Sal 5 for the Reno to get into the next level?
I mean, to be honest, right, the way that I look at it is the people that are going to get enough points in order to unlock that locked in shop.
Yep.
You know, those people aren't the ones that are going to need those torpedoes.
Right. Right. So I switched to the next slide just because, I mean, we've been bitching about the prize list for a while, and that's absolutely this week's kick size screw up. The prize list, all these issues are the ones we just talked about. I figured we could at least look at a hottie while we were bitching about it. So there.
Indeed. It's made me feel better already.
Yeah. I like her. So yeah, but you know, again, I think it comes back to players want freedom in selecting their prizes, right? I mean, the point levels for these prizes are supposed to be picked so that, you know, players have to work for them. But then they lock it and they, you know, make it all tiered and you can only pick one or the other, and it just pisses people off, right? And turns them off from playing.
This is the way that I look at it, right? I earn points. Points make prizes. I want to pick my prizes. I don't want you to tell me, oh, you've made 85 million points, but you can only spend 60 million because you're only allowed to pick these.
Yep.
If you make the effort, you make the points, you can pick what you want, and that's the end of it.
Yep.
That's the way it should be.
Okay. Anything else to bitch about the prize list? I'll switch slides. I promise there's a hottie on the next page too.
Yeah. Can I have her as part of my prize list? Is that right?
No, you may not. Human trafficking is wrong. All right. I think the breakthrough is maybe more people will be able to defend their base with this prize combo. What do you guys think?
I think that the price combo is going to help to defend your base, but it's not going to be the only thing that is going to do it. If you don't have the turrets that even the defender fleet you have inside, you're not going to stop them. So if people think that just getting these 3 prizes and putting them in the base is going to stop them all, they are completely wrong.
Agreed. I think, you know, it is going to help out masses. I seem to like bump into a lot of people. Like, you know, I am an insector hitter. I do a lot of base hitting and stuff like that, and a lot of people still don't quite grasp the fact of how the bloodthirst works and everything else like that, and stuff like that. So they don't set up their bases well enough to kind of stop things, even if they do have the Vanquisher and they have the new weapon and everything else like that. There is ways and means that you can still smash it quite easily. So I think a lot of it is down to education, and I think I might make a video very soon, the next couple of weeks, if I get a chance, about how to do it, how to help you base out and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely you need the turrets, and you need to have a bit of a brain about things, and understand how things work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I do believe 100% that Kicksai should be offering some of the limited turrets that have been available in the past in the new Forsaken Mission series that's coming up.
I wouldn't be surprised to see any of those that you're talking in the tier 5 in the next Forsaken missions.
Yeah, I mean, even in the tier 5, you know, they're getting rid of the shards.
The shards.
Tier 5, yeah, they're getting rid of those. You know, stick those limited turrets in there. You know, if people haven't got them, let them catch up and grab them, because I reckon that it's really important. People like to defend their bases, and you know some of those turrets are really sort of really important in protecting your base. So
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
yes, Mr. 12 Turrets. But the other issue is if you look at the if you look at what's going on, why do we have? Never mind. One second. Go ahead. Go.
and stop calling me Mr. 12 turrets. I've got 20 again now. Calm down.
Oh, they forgave you?
Well, all right. Obviously, everybody else doesn't know. My other half deleted some of my turrets because I might have been spending a little bit too much time on the game. But Kixeye were very nice, and they let me have them back.
And the Air Force is doing great with 12 turrets. So nobody else should complain. You know, I don't have enough time to build my turrets and whatnot. Because I've been watching Earth. He's doing really well with 12 turrets.
Well, you bring up a point, right? Because Outpost 8 gave 2 extra turrets, right? And I haven't built those yet because every time I'm thinking, what's going to help my base defense more? Spending 10 days getting a turret from level 5 to level 6 or level 6 to level 7, or building a new turret and getting it to level 4. I want to get more of my turrets to level 7 and get transformers on them, rather than build more crap turrets.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had 12 turrets for a little while, as obviously Jefe's been joking about, and I've been doing really well because it detracts from some of the bloodthirst. There's only so many spots you can put stuff and have a good base design with it, and it's been working quite well for me. I've got to the point now with the vendettas where I do need the extra turrets in order to fend them off and stuff like that. But it's not all about having lots and lots and lots of weapons. You've got to concentrate on getting those weapons upgraded and like the turrets upgraded and situating them right. So even though somebody might have 20 turrets, I had 12 and I was doing really well. It's basically the kind of gist of it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about this evening?
Not really, but yeah. Don't send in tiger sharks with 108,000 damage to my base, please.
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help.
Besides the tiger sharks, I mean, where else do you see the new? Well, I guess they made it a little bit difficult because this is the first time that the weapon is better than the hull. In not forever, but in this grouping of raids.
Well, I mean, other places you could put the launcher are places you put launchers now, right? I mean, you could put them on Punishers, you could put them on Fusion Cruisers, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it depends what your target is because these don't do a lot of building damage. It's
That's
10%.
true. That's true. That's yeah.
I'll just share my screen just for a minute. This is ridiculous. Can you see the Huggy screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just focused on you.
Yeah. So a tiger shark, obviously with the assault bonuses that it's got. So if you load it up with launchers, you don't have to put any armor on it, obviously. Cat drive 3, speed system 5 with naughtless battery 3. Smack on the emission generator. Load it up with the new launchers. You go 108,000 damage when it pops up.
Yeah, actually, it looks like the damage doesn't account for the emission generator, so it's
No,
really like 160 some thousand damage.
that's just one ship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But is it also counting for the accuracy or no?
No.
Right.
So,
But like I said earlier on, if you use disciples with it, you count for the accuracy. The accuracy is what, 60%. You add on that extra 40% of missing, double it by 80%. So you're talking stupid amounts of damage just from one ship going in. You
so
know,
this is the haul when you. I don't think you have an ex-wife, but this is the haul you would recommend for that, right?
oh, if you're gonna go in and take out a ship in someone's guard, this is definitely the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. But you're gonna have to be angry with that person, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know. Depends, really.
Jefe, is every base hit personal for you?
No, it's a specific build. It's I like it. I think
I
it's a
just
good
like
build.
taking shiny things off of people who care about shiny things.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. How does this work out? Oh, this is the fleet. Hey, click on the ship button.
Become, well, the ship, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the ship
So
button. That's per ship.
yeah,
Yeah,
13
not
13 and a
damage
half.
per ship.
Yeah, over 500,000 on the fleet without taking in care the special that gives you 50% more. So we are talking about 750,000 on that fleet.
Yeah. I was just curious on the ship build time. Okay.
As I said earlier on, I don't mind sharing my wacky ideas, but don't put them in my banks.
Good luck with that.
There we go.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we can all say good evening and thanks for watching.
Indeed. Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, make sure you check out Larry's blog.
Yeah, I need to write an article for this raid, don't I?
Well, you don't have to, but a lot of people will be looking to do it.
Yeah.
But,
All right. Good night, everybody. Tito, Jefe, thanks for joining us. Earth, nice to have you back.
Good night to you too.
Good
Good
night.
night to everybody.